Today's video is on an interesting piece of 1970s technology, the Weltron 2001, or Spaceball as it is often called. It is a AM/FM stereo radio plus 8-track tape player in a spherical form factor. They aren't especially rare, but they are collectible along with other units made by Weltron. There are many variations of the Weltron 2001. First, they come in white, a banana yellow, and fire orange. Second, they come branded under several names, even though they were all made by Weltron. Mine, for example, is branded Fleetwood model IT1335 because it was sold in Canada. But there's also the PrinzSound SM8 if sold in the UK, and Weltron if sold in Singapore and Asia. Third, there are two distinct lines. The first and better made Spaceballs made in Japan, and the later cheaper Spaceballs made in Korea. Externally, they're identical as far as I know. However, internally they're completely different. The Korean Spaceballs have a particularly problematic tape head mount that is prone to failure. Let's take a quick look at the design. There are 3 linear controls for volume, tone, and left speaker, right speaker balance. This style of control was very common in equipment in the early to mid 1970s. There are 2 rotary controls, one for switching between AM, FM stereo, and tape, and a tuning knob that sweeps a needle across a large dial. On the left, there's a battery level indicator because yes, this unit is portable. There's a button to manually change the 8-track program with 4 program indicators. The program switch physically shifts the tape head up or down to the next pair of audio tracks. Since there are 8 audio tracks on the tape and each program takes 2 tracks, one for the left channel and one for the right channel, there are 4 programs. Of course there's an on-off switch. Down below there is a plug for headphones with a 1/4 inch plug. This size of plug was common up to the late 1970s. On the top there's an eyelet for hanging this unit in the air. This radio is heavy, so I can't see doing it with anything less than a chain. There's a carrying handle so you can truly have music on the go. Behind the speakers are receptacles for external speakers. What's most unusual is that they used barrel connectors for speakers. I've never seen that done before. On the rear, there is a retractable antenna which needs repair. It won't retract and is quite limp. It's also missing its tip. Under a cover, you'll find where to insert the batteries for a total of 12 volts. A power cord to plug it into the wall socket, and a plug to get power from your car's accessory outlet, which used to be used for your car's cigarette lighter. Yes, that was a thing. Finally, on the bottom, there's a suction cup to help secure this unit to a flat, smooth surface. Overall, it was intended to be a futuristic design. This design came at the price of repairability. Disassembly and reassembly is tricky, so give yourself time for this one.
Let's test it to see what it does. I hear something. If there are any lights, they're blown. I hear I'll turn up the volume and set it to AM. I need some deoxit on the controls. Let's try FM. Okay, so we have a stereo light. Cool. And FM works. Let's try tape. What I expect is that the belt is probably finished. Here's an 8-track cartridge. Oh, it shows one of the lights. One light is dead. 2 light works. 3 is dead. 4. Oh no. 1 works, 2, 3, 4. What that is the switch which controls the lights, which is in need of cleaning. If they're intermittent, it's not the bulb, it's the switch. But sometimes to clean them, to clean this kind of switch, all you have to do is work it. I hear the motor. But not surprising. No sound. That's most likely the belt. Let's open it up.
The only service manual I could find for the Weltron 2001 is this SAMS PhotoFacts document, number TSM131. While it does provide a schematic, alignment instructions, and a few views of the inside, nowhere does it provide any disassembly instructions. That means I'm on my own. Fortunately, after watching this video, you won't be.
First, let's deal with the two screws that I noticed when I lifted the handle. Underneath the handle there are two Phillips screws. Now, these two screws are of different lengths. The front screw is shorter. Let's take off the nut at the bottom. And there is a lock washer with it too. Remove the top. This is going to have to be washed. Whatever you use to scrub doesn't eat this finish. Let's take a look at it so far. The speakers are on the side. They look like they're going to come out nicely. The 8-track deck is in the bowels of it. Looks like that's going to be a challenge to get to. Everything looks original. There's a glass fuse right there. The speaker comes out. I'm tempted to put in a JST connector. I used them in the Weltron PS804 repair I recently did.
I've read people doing Spaceball repair complaining about the speakers dangling on either side. That's totally unnecessary. Just cut them off and splice in a quick disconnect.
Will make things much easier to deal with. In fact, I think I'm going to do that now. This is something I just noticed, and it's really cool. Pioneer branded speakers. 8 ohms, 2 watts. Pioneer, in case you didn't know, was a manufacturer of some very fine quality audio equipment. Okay, give myself some space here. Yeah, it's already color coded. I don't have to say left and right. Next, I'm going to remove these two screws from this side and these two screws from this side. It looks like the entire chassis connects to the base of the cabinet with those 4 screws. Each of them has its own lock washer. But we've found the first sign that the belt has disintegrated. This thing here, that's part of the belt. We can be sure there is no belt left. If there is, it is stuck to the flywheel and to the motor. I'm going to take out these knobs. They pull straight out, as most 70s stuff does. Yeah, it's coming. There we go. And no scratches on this either. Good. And the face is held on through these green standoffs here. I can get in a stubby screwdriver and take out those 4 screws. Then I should be getting this out. Same on this side. The meter is just like with the PS804. This is the battery meter, and it's connected so that this doesn't want to come out. Well, guess what? A third JST connector. It's going to go right there. what was holding it in was this little projection here in this hole there, right there. I thought that after taking out those 4 screws, there was something I was missing. No, it was just stuck from old lubricant or age or whatever. And here's more of the belt and some fluff dust. And that is it. That's the bottom. I can go and wash that. Definitely needs cleaning.
I washed all these pieces with spray 9 and a kitchen sponge, and they've really come out quite a bit brighter.
Let's go through all the things I had to undo to get it to this phase. And this was not obvious. 1, 2, 3 screws at the front have to come out. There are 4 screws, these 2, which are accessed from the top, plus the corresponding pair on the other side. I'm guessing they're probably JIS screws, so I'm going to use a JIS screwdriver. Then there are the rear 2 screws here and here. And then there are the front 2 screws to the left of the drive door, which are here somewhere. The transformer has to come out and swing around. That's held in by 2 screws. And of course the terminal strip with the fuse on it, that is held by 1 long screw. That has to come out. Then there's a wire clamp on the top on the right hand side, and you have to loosen that. You have to get slack on this blue wire and on this black wire. And only then will this come out this far. But this is as far as you need it, because now we can take off the remains of the yucky belt and we can measure for a new one. The last one I did, which was a Weltron PS804, it was disgusting. So I might as well get gloves so I don't end up with brown goo all over my fingers again. The first step is to scrape off the gunk, and the second step is to use alcohol to clean whatever remains of the gunk. I use a screwdriver, and this is not as bad. It's just coming off in chunks, which is not horrible. Maybe I spoke too soon. Now it's shredding. These are the grommets this time for the program lights. I don't know if I can tease out the bulbs and get in LEDs. I want to do that. I would rather not have lamps waiting to blow. I know as soon as I get it together, one of them will blow and then I'll have to take it all apart again. I will be very unhappy about that, so they will be replaced one way or another. Okay, the next part I'm not going to bother videoing. I'm going to use alcohol and clean both this and this, so they're sparkling.
A few Q-tips later.
These are now clean. They may not look completely clean, but they're smooth and they're not sticky at all, which is important. Now to get a piece of dental floss so I can measure the circumference of the belt. There's a wonderful expression, measure twice, cut once. I measured the belt length twice. I got between 32 and 32.5 centimeters, so about 12.5 inches. I'm going to have to do something with the antenna to fix it, so I'm going to take it out now. Problem with older sets, the antenna just gets broken off by accident, and it's not considered an essential part, so it doesn't get fixed. First of all, there's a screw on it. I can tighten it up because it's really floppy, and I don't like that. We have the base section above the screw. 1, 2, 3, 4. This little bit, which is maybe 3 millimeters long, is all that's left of the last section or sections. What I'm going to do is put a self-tapping screw that's going to be good and tight. There it is, with the screw wound a few threads into the top of the antenna, and it will not come out. That's still about a, 15-inch antenna, usable length. I took some of this 2-part epoxy putty and made an end for the antenna, which is pretty good. And in 15 or 20 minutes, it'll be hard as a rock. To make the antenna more realistic, I'm just going to add some of this stuff and maybe some clear glaze on afterwards, and hopefully it will look metallic when it's all done.
This is a long video and will soon be an excessively long video, so we're going to end it here. I hope you'll join me for part 2 once it's finished. I hope you enjoyed this video from Mr. Brown's Basement. If you did, please click the like button and subscribe to Mr. Brown's Basement for more interesting and unusual videos.